Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicola from Singer's Secret. Now, if you've been thinking about performing for a while, but you haven't got there yet, so you haven't made that transition from singing in your home to the stage, and you don't feel like you're quite confident enough or you're not quite ready, you're gonna love today's video because I have a pre-gig checklist for you, which is gonna be something that you can check off that will show you exactly what you need to have ready before you can hit the stage and start gigging. And this checklist is really going to help you make that transition from singing at home to the stage, because once you've checked the items off on this list that I'm about to give you, you will know that you've done all the preparation and you've got everything ready that you need to have there to be able to start performing. And don't worry about writing this down, because I will put this information in a handy PDF that you can download over on Singer's Secret. I'll put a link to it below. First thing that you need to tick off on your checklist is repertoire. So the songs that you're going to perform. Now, generally a set is 45 minutes. So that's the amount of time that you'll be expected to play for one set before you have a break at a gig. Now, if you're singing in either solo or in a duo or a small combo, like a trio, then you will get through generally around 10 songs in a 45-minute set. So that means that you need to have 10 songs completely ready to go. So songs that you know the lyrics for, you've got sheet music or chords, like lyrics with the chords written out over the top, so your musicians can perform and accompany you with that. You need to have them, you really need to have practiced them and know this material really, really well. So if you're just doing one set, all you need is 10 songs ready. If you're doing 2 sets, however, you've got to double that, because you're going to get through 20 songs. If you're doing a 3-set gig, then you're going to need 30 songs. Just so you've got kind of an indication of how much material you actually need to prepare in order to start gigging. And the best way to get all these songs ready is to just grab a folder with, clear plastic sleeves so you can just flick through them at a gig. If you don't know how to write charts, and I will do another video on chart writing soon, but if you don't know how to write charts, just print the lyrics of the song out from online with the chords across the top, and that should be okay to get you by for now. Next item on your checklist is equipment. Now, some venues do provide a certain amount of equipment, so PA speakers and things like that, but I'm just going to give you entry-level equipment that you need to start gigging at small venues like bars and cafes and things like that. Now, the first thing that you're going to need is a microphone. And a standard durable microphone, one that I used for years and I knocked around all over the place, did the job, is a Shure 58. I'll put a link to it below. I really recommend, though, if you can spend a little bit more, get the best microphone that you can afford, because your microphone quality really does help with making your vocals sound nice. And I personally like using a stage condenser microphone. They really bring out the lows in my voice a little bit more than the dynamic microphone, which is a Shure 58. I will have to do another video on microphones as well. But for now, I think one of the best things that you can do is just to go down to your local music shop and get them to hook a microphone up to an amp, take some backing tracks with you on your iPhone, and just sing into a bunch of them and see which one you like the sound of best. But if you're in doubt, just grab a Shure 58, because it's like the industry standard microphone. Second thing you're going to need in terms of equipment is a small PA unit or an amp, something that just really amplifies the sound of your voice. Some cafes do have PA units installed in the cafe, but generally that, as a rule, I don't think most of them, they're not very good. The sound quality is a bit crackly, and you're going to need a small amp anyway as a foldback, so to put in front of yourself so you can hear yourself singing, because there is quite a lot of noise in a cafe or a bar. So you're going to need to purchase a small amp. One piece of equipment that I've used for years has been the Yamaha Stage Pass. Comes with 2 speakers and a little mixer that's inbuilt. It's extremely portable, extremely compact and lightweight, and I gigged around using this for cafes for years. I put one speaker facing outwards and the other speaker facing towards me, and it was fine. And then when I wanted to upgrade, I just grabbed a couple of big pairs of powerful power speakers, and they became my front of house speakers, and they just kind of like expanded the unit that I've got. I'll put a link to the Yamaha Stage Pass below. You don't have to spend a lot of money on equipment, but just try and get the best you can afford, because as you progress, you want to be able to grow with your equipment, and you want decent sound quality. I got a Roland Street Cube just for busking and stuff, and I don't like it. Some musicians, friends of mine, have got it and they love it, but I don't like it because I don't think the sound quality is nice enough, and it just annoys me. So, I only skimped on my equipment. I think the Roland Street Cube was only like $300, where if I'd spent like an extra couple of $100, I could have gotten something that's a lot better quality. Yeah, just get the best that you can afford. And the last piece of equipment that you need is an instrument. So if you're intending on singing and playing solo, you need a decent guitar or keyboard. If you play keyboard, word of the wise, get yourself a lightweight keyboard for gigging, because they are a biatch to lug around. You've got your keyboard, which is massive, you've got the case, you've got the stand, you've got your music stand if you're using one, you've got the PA and the microphone stand, and there's a lot of equipment if you're a keyboard player and you're playing solo. It's a pain in the ass. That's why I got my little Kurzweil, not because I particularly like the sound of the Kurzweil keyboard, but because it's only 11 kilograms. So lightweight, chuck it under my arm, off I go. Guitar players have it easier. The next thing on our checklist is practice. Now, I'm not just talking about learning your songs here. I'm talking about setting up your little PA or your amp with your guitar or your backing tracks and your microphone on a stand, and practicing performing as if you were live, but do it in your own home. The reason this is so important is because as soon as you start singing into a microphone and playing the keyboard or the guitar, you often can't look at your fingers. You have to keep your head up to sing into the microphone. And you've also got to be, looking at the audience and stuff like that. So you really do need to practice how it feels when you're performing like that, because it can be a little bit weird. So when you're practicing your repertoire, your 10 songs that you're going to have ready, also do a run through performing them with all of your equipment set up at home as if you were doing it live, and it will make the whole gigging performance so much smoother. And one other thing about practice, learn the lyrics to your songs. You gotta learn the lyrics. There's nothing that looks worse than a singer who's performing and just has their head stuck in their lyrics. It looks awful. I think it looks bad enough when my musicians use music to accompany me. So yeah, really make an effort to learn the lyrics to your songs. And the last thing you want to have ready on your checklist before you start performing is marketing. You got to think a little bit about your promotion and branding before you hit the stage. So the first thing you want to think about when it comes to marketing is your name. Are you going to use a different name for your band or your act, or you as a musician, or are you going to use your own name? Because that's what you want to have on all of your material that I'm going to tell you about in a sec. So that's the first thing to think about. What are you going to call yourself? Second thing you want to do when it comes to marketing is get yourself a little sign. It doesn't have to be huge. It can just be an A4 piece of paper that you stick in one of those holders and put somewhere on a table next to you, or stick it on your guitar case or something that's got your name on it, so people know who you are when you're performing. This is the best way to promote yourself. And again, I didn't do it for years, and I really wish that I had. Now I do it all the time. I always have my little merch table set up next to me with my CDs and stuff, and I have my name there so they know who I am. And the third thing you want to think about when it comes to marketing is get yourself a little flyer that people can take away. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can just print it out at home, even Microsoft Word, just make it look pretty, choose some pretty fonts. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just have your name, your website if you've got one, or at least, a Facebook page or somewhere where they can follow you online. One little side note, if you don't have a website, use bandpage.com. It's freaking amazing. And you can get your own kind of band website for free. It's awesome. There really isn't an excuse for not having some kind of like website or promotional thing that you can put on there. Put an email as well, which is really important. Pick an email address that represents your band. So even if it's Gmail, you know, like nicolamilan@gmail.com instead of saucymama@gmail.com, you know, because then people will remember a little bit more. It just looks more professional that way. Stick that on your flyer, have your flyers on your little table or just next to you, even on the ground, when you're performing, that people can pick up and take away with them. And then that's it. That's pretty much all you need to have ready. And if you get all that checklist done, you will be ready to gig and perform. You will know that you have everything prepared and you can finally make that transition from singing at home onto the stage. There will be no more excuses or holding back or procrastinating. So I encourage you to use this gigging checklist as a tool to make that transition, to give yourself something to work towards. Just tick things off. Once you got everything ticked off on this checklist, which I'll link to the PDF where you can grab this below, then you will be able to start gigging. I want to see you out there gigging. You can have this checklist done. Like, how long does it take to learn like 20 songs? You know, you can learn 20 songs in a couple of weeks. You can get out there and start gigging in a couple of weeks if you put your mind to it. There you go. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll link to where you can grab the gigging checklist below, and I will see you next time.